Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to.
I hope you are ready to have an existential crisis and to consider your inevitable death when you click this video, because despite being absolutely adorable, this game has some heavy content. Welcome to 2020's The Last Campfire, a game where we control Ember on their journey to the crackling final stop and navigate through the bumps in the road we experience along the way. We're not alone in this journey, as we meet a few excellently designed characters and have to encourage some of our lost buddies along the way while we unravel the mystery of what exactly is keeping us from the destined final flame. Well, let's not give too much away in the intro. I hope you've got your s'mores and your hot dogs, because we're diving into the flames of The Last Campfire. Quick spoiler warning here, and also a slight trigger warning, as this game talks about some heavy topics and the story is super impactful. You've been warned. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.
The fisherman felt so useless. His former joys were hollow.
Let's quickly discuss the gameplay. We control Ember, the cute little Ewok looking thing, on a mission to reach the last campfire. Ember's trip is interrupted and our path is blocked, so our job is to find a way around to head to our final destination. To do this, we have to solve puzzles and rescue our little friends in order to open paths to the main area. There are 3 main areas, each containing 7 forlorn or lost embers, with small levels between each section. This game is filled to the brink with puzzles in the overworld, and each time we interact with someone to save them, we must also complete a puzzle to reclaim their inner flame. More on that later. The puzzles are never overly long or unnecessarily complicated, but they are also not a cakewalk. The game really excels here in that they strike a great balance with their puzzles and allow for an accessible adventure for everybody. There is no combat in the game, just good old exploring and puzzles, and the game really encourages you to take your time and enjoy that absolutely stunning scenery. I love this art style and can honestly say this is one of the best looking games I've ever played. Not everything needs to be hyper realistic, and if you're like me, you prefer games designed like this. Each area feels completely different than the last, and the puzzles always have some sort of unique twist to them, but there's nothing you can't figure out in a few minutes time. The game is also narrated by a woman who did an incredible job, and her narration really adds to the whole experience.
A tremendous, terrifying shape slithered from the shadows. The snake's body coiled around the forlorn like a scaly shield.
I will say, my one criticism here is that I think the narration can be a bit buggy, and that I've found a few times through my playthrough that the dialogue would repeat, or the characters would not have updated voice lines reflecting your progression in the game, but it's really not that big of a deal. There are also journal entries scattered throughout the game that can provide some lore and world building if you choose to seek them out, and although a map would have been preferred, there's a pretty solid built-in tracking system in game to help you find those pesky hidden chests. Aside from our basic running, we also later gain access to a boat to explore a creepy dark cave, and about midway through the game we get one of our main puzzle solving tools, a horn that allows us to move certain objects in the environment. Well, that's about it. The gameplay is pretty simple, but it really captures a cozy, relaxing feeling that provides a quality gaming experience. Well, let's not dawdle and get forlorn. Let's move on to the real treasure here, the story.
They said, I know what I need to do, what I need to feel. I don't want to be helped. Ember could not help. Not all problems were puzzles to be solved.
The story to The Last Campfire is heavy, to say the least. We control Ember, who is essentially a soul, or at least that's how I saw the game, who is on their way to the afterlife. Ember is interrupted and learns that a lot of souls are having trouble reaching the final flame, or as I see it, the final step to completing your trip to the afterlife. Well, if these souls get discouraged or find negative emotions such as doubt, depression, anxiety, or really any mental health problem you can think of overwhelming them, they turn to stone and become forlorn, doomed to stay in purgatory unless some hero comes along to encourage them and show them their inner flames. More on that topic in a bit. Essentially, Ember must journey through these 3 areas and save as many souls as they can on the way to reach the final flame. Along this journey, Ember encounters the Forest King, a large bird, who seems to be trying to convince everyone to simply stay in the nest and be safe there for all eternity. Well, we can't let that happen. We don't want to be in purgatory forever, so we continue on, saving fishermen, a giant pig, a cool robot, and a chef turtle who I will mention has us feed the giant pig his special soup, which we find out later has a secret ingredient of torque. I mean, maybe this turtle chef is the main antagonist, because that is some cruel, sneaky forced cannibalism. Oh well, what you don't know won't hurt you, I guess. Eventually we have saved enough souls, we are ready to guide all our Ember friends to the afterlife, but there's one thing standing in our way, and it's the giant, slightly terrifying Forest King. It seems the Forest King is dead, but something fishy is going on here. After taking a closer look, we find out the Forest King was just a mechanical machine, Wizard of Oz style, being controlled by the Wanderer, whose notebook we've been collecting all game, and who we could see watching us in the background quite a bit throughout the game. The Wanderer is ultimately scared of the unknown and what is to come after death, which seems perfectly reasonable. As a result, they have sabotaged all paths to the final flame and turned forlorn themselves. We save the Wanderer, and just like every happy Disney movie, take the Wanderer with us as we guide countless embers to the afterlife. What a beautiful ending. Gosh, I love this game. Let's talk about what it all means.
You know, part of me didn't want to be found. I said some things I shouldn't have. And now I'm lost. And it's too late.
So I took this game as a depiction of what it's like to struggle with grief, depression, low self-esteem, and really just mental health in general. I think most of us have probably struggled with one of these issues at some point in our life, and I thought they were represented in a very respectful and accurate manner. We run into some forlorn who do not wish to be helped, and then we help some forlorn who our narrator will tell us have felt forgotten and alone, implying our comfort is saving them. Ultimately, people struggling with mental health experience a broad spectrum of emotions and have different reasons for their feelings, which I think the game captures in a very appropriate manner. One that I think would be excellent to educate a younger audience on these heavy but important topics. It's hard to explain, but there were moments in the game I thought about myself and some feelings I didn't understand as a teenager, where my past self would have related and appreciated the message the game is voicing so much. Plus, bonus points for doing it in a beautiful art style with cute and comforting characters. It just makes everything feel easier to think and talk about.
The stranger spoke. Thank you for coming to help. I can't let another in right now. Ember shared a moment with the forlorn and hoped they would find what they needed.
I will also add the third area in the game, which is the caves, contains a giant robot snake. Now when I first arrived, I felt a lot of tension here and was preparing for the snake to jump out of the water and destroy my boat in jump scare fashion, but it turns out the snake is just misunderstood and accidentally destroys things due to it not knowing its own size. Why do I bring this up? Well, I couldn't help but feel as though this final area of our journey perfectly encapsulates the final steps of moving on. We may be scared of what's to come and the unknown, but then we realize the afterlife is, well, misunderstood. Although we don't know what's to come, maybe we'll find out it's not what we think it is at all. And maybe it's something beautiful, like this giant mechanical snake friend. Just a thought. Finally, let's talk about the Wanderer. The Wanderer prevented other Embers from moving on to the afterlife because of their fear of the unknown. Our main character, Ember, however, had a different idea. Essentially, we explained that it doesn't matter what's to come. Moving on is not about the destination, but it's about the journey along the way, the friends we've made, the people we've helped, the experiences we've had, the people that have helped us. Although it sounds terribly cliche, the game portrays this message in such a powerful way. We go, together, with the Wanderer, and all our little friends we've met on our journey to our final destination, no longer fearing what's to come, but embracing what has brought us here, and there's something beautiful in that I think we can all appreciate. The Last Campfire is a surprisingly powerful game. From its enjoyable puzzles to its extremely impactful messages and themes, the game definitely leaves an impact on the audience that can be applied to their everyday lives. I think I'm definitely leaving this experience with a new outlook on life. And if the game does anything for you, I hope it allows you to appreciate your day-to-day life and the people around you just a bit more. Thanks for watching.
Ember paused. So many places the path had taken them. So many others whose paths had crossed their own. After everything I've done, I don't deserve to move on. Only my boat remains. Take my oar. Finish your journey. Leave this place. Ember knew the end lay ahead. Were they any more ready than the Wanderer?
If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to check out some other videos on the channel here. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.